Hi, I'm John. Welcome to Twig Archery. Today we're going to be talking about the Black Hunter Longbow, or recurve for that matter, but in our case we only stock the longbows, but the replacement limbs. Okay, so the replacement limbs have come in finally after quite some time here, and they're bamboo core, and the only issue has been, since we received them, was they weren't the exact same hole in the limb as we had on all of our, including my old Black Hunter longbows. And they've made the bolt bigger, so the hole is bigger. So what we're going to do today is show you how you can still use those limbs on your older Black Hunter, even though the older Black Hunter has a 1/4 inch bolt and the new ones has a 5/16. So we've had a couple customers that have recommended that maybe we should go to metal and all this, and that's really not going to work out because metal just has no movement at all. So we have to go with something that's got a little bit more movement. So I mean, yeah, they've thrown us a curve for sure, but let's face it, you know, the folks in the United States and Canada can handle the situation, I'm sure, because we're just talking a limb here that we need to install on a riser, and we can figure this out for sure. You know, back in the old days, Ben Pearson, Howard Hill, Fred Bear, back, you know, they didn't have all this equipment that we have nowadays, and they invented their own stuff as they went because they didn't have it, so they just made it, and that's where we progress from that. But nowadays everybody expects everything to be like, ooh, super perfect for them, and it's really not really what it has to be. You know, for a manufacturer to go out there right now and manufacture us a special basil with this spacer, you may be talking thousands of dollars because there's a lot that goes on to this, and because where the limb mounts onto the riser, it's very small tolerance here. You can't have any room for air. But when you use something a little softer material, then you can have a little air there, and it still will work out just fine. So what we're going to do today is, I personally have had, and you know me, I've had my problems shoulder-wise. So I needed a little lower poundage limbs. Well, oh, here they come, and I'm expecting, you know, the same 1/4 inch limb hole, and it's not what it is. Big Rock has decided, for whatever reasons it might be, they've went to a 5/16 limb bolt, and maybe that's a good thing. I don't know. I haven't heard of any issues with the smaller limb bolts, like my personal bow, but it is what it is, and that's that. So we're just going to go with this, and I'm going to show you now. It didn't take me very long to figure this out, and that's probably why the manufacturers overseas have decided, well, we're not going to make any kind of a space or anything. They can figure that out for themselves. And I'm sure the Americans and the Canadians can. And it took me about like maybe 3 or 4 minutes before I knew already what I needed to do here. But I didn't have the material, so I had to go up to the local hardware store and get it. And it wasn't that difficult. And this is basically it right here. This is a little 5/16 piece of material. This is basically comes in a big roll. It's fairly flexible, but yet it's a little hard. When you try to squeeze it on the end, it's pretty stout, so you can't squeeze it too much, but yet it is flexible, and that's what I was looking for, because I knew metal just is not going to be the answer because of the limb bolt alignment. If the limb bolt alignment from the limb to the riser is off a little bit, metal's not going to work. So we need something that's got a little bit of give there, and that's where this material come in pretty good. So anyways, what we're going to do now is I'm going to show you how we've done this, or how I did it myself. And so far it seems to be working real well. I mean, I don't see a problem with it at all. But we're going to get my bow up here. Now I had a 40, this is a 40 pound Black Hunter, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this over to the 35. Now I have the old, if you look here, I have these smaller 1/4 inch limb bolts, and now how am I going to mount these 5/16 limbs on here? Because if you look here, the 5/16, here's the washer and everything, but this hole is much larger than this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to, first of all, I'm going to unstring the bow. This will only take me a second to get this done. Okay, so we got the bow unstrung. Take the stringer off. I'm going to take my string off. I'm going to keep my string because I had this twisted for my correct brace height, so I'm going to just kind of put that over so that shaft there. And then I'm going to pull my quiver off. Of course, I got my boa quiver on here, which is a strap-on type quiver. I'm going to pull this off. Just lay that to the side here for a moment. Okay, now what we're going to do here is we're going to take our regular little Allen wrench that comes with your bow with the small 1/4 inch bolt. We're going to, of course, just take this out. Sorry, but I have a little bit of a cold here, so excuse me if I'm sniffing a little bit. We're going to pull this. These are 40-pound limbs here. Okay, so I'm going to take this 40-pound limb here, and lay that there. Do the lower limb. Our Allen wrench. Okay, I like to keep the upper and the lower limb bolt always going in the same same place. All right, we'll just lay that there. We'll put these limbs to the side. Now we're going to go with the new limbs, which have the big hole, of course. Now, if we take the limb bolt and we would put that in there, of course we can see there's play here. We got play going on, okay, because we're talking a 1/4 inch from 5/16. So the bolt, as you can see from this side, it's just wouldn't work that way. So what we're going to do though is we're going to take these pieces that I've already cut. All right, these are just from this original piece here of plastic tubing. What I did though, I reamed these out with a drill. I reamed them out because I wanted to be able to get my bolt through there. And the best way I found to do this is you just take this and you basically thread it on there, on the bolt, the small bolt, which is what we need because that's what we've got here. We got the small bolt hole there that we need. So we just put that on there. If you can't quite get all that through there, the best way is to just clamp onto it with a little tool, whether it's a pliers or, in my case, a knock pliers. Then we're going to turn this through. Always make sure you have your little brass bezel on there first. And then we're going to turn this all the way through. And we're going to take that all the way up till it's just about snug. Okay. Now, we're going to let's lay that down there. And now we're going to just take our new limb, which is our 35-pound bamboo core, And we're going to lay this on there and put it into place. And as we put this in, we're going to start to turn it a little bit. Just take your Allen wrench. The 5/16 plastic piece will fit right through that hole. If you can see that okay. And then we're going to just screw our limb bolt in. Okay, we snug that up. Okay, there's no side-to-side movement. Everything is tight because we filled up that little gap in there, so everything is good. I mean, it's good to go as far as I'm concerned. Now we have to do the top one. We will first. Well, let's just snap the limb on here. Okay, so we have the limb pushed on. Same deal here. We push this through. Take our little piece that we've already pre-cut, and we're going to screw this basically on there. That's what we're going to do. And then we have to get a hold of this to hold this plastic piece, because we want to thread that, basically thread that through there. Takes a little bit of time, but I mean, you're only talking 10-15 minutes here. So we're screwing this through, and that plastic is coming on up towards the head of the bolt and the brass bezel there. That's what we want. And when we get that up close, like about there, that would be good. Now all we have to do is take the bolt with the piece of plastic spacer, and we're going to turn that in. And as we turn this in, the plastic is going to fill up that gap in that hole in there, if you can see that. You see how that's kind of going in there. And as I turn this, it's going to continue right on inside. It cannot go beyond. It cannot go down in here because that's a smaller hole. So it cannot do that. It has to fill up the space in there. And then we just put that on. We snug it up like that. And that's that. So we're in good shape. So now all we have to do is take our string back where we saved it, so it didn't untwist, so we didn't lose our brace height. We put it back on. And then we take our stringer and put that back on. And I'm going to just go ahead and string the bow up. Make sure everything's straight on the bottom, straight on top, and we just string her up. This looks good. Take a little measurement. Brace height is right where we need it. And I might move it a little bit there. And I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just go ahead and draw the bow. Ooh. Oh, those 35-pound limbs feel good compared to those 41s I had. And all we have to do then is just take our quiver, and we're just going to lay that down on the bow quiver. Really nice quiver. I love that quiver. I've used it for years. And we snap that back into place. Very simple. Snap it in down there, and there we go. Everything looks good. Put down the new limbs. make sure everything looks good. Looks good. And as far as the fit goes here, now when you get replacement limbs, there can be a little variance here. We're talking a $200 bow here, and even a custom bow. I've seen many custom bows that guys have gotten replacement limbs in that, and they didn't always just fit perfect down here. So this can be off a little bit. Yeah, sure, we all want it perfect, but it's not quite the way it is. But you know, a lot of them fit really nice. I've seen a lot of them fit nice, and anyways, that's the deal. Now these are bamboo core, of course, like we're stocking now. But I mean, there we are. We're ready to go. Oh, feels so nice, and I think it's going to work out just great with that little bit of, this little piece right here. That's all it takes is those little pieces. For every set of limbs that we send out, I'm going to include 2 of these. These are kind of like prototypes here. But they still are going to be maybe a little on the, when you get them, they might look a little on the rough side, and that's because I have to ream them out with a drill to get that the right diameter for these smaller bolts to fit through there. And but I think this is going to work just fine. There's like no movement in there. Everything is tight and snug, and that's what you want. So I think it's just going to be great and work out really well. Even though they threw us a curve with this, hey, curve balls can be hit out of the ballpark. So let's do it. And from now on, all our new bows are going to have, of course, the bigger limb bolts to them. And but this is just for the guys who need replacement limbs, that they can still use these new limbs that are the bamboo core that have the 5/16 hole on the 1/4-inch limb bolt. So thanks for joining us today, and we really appreciate it. And we hope everybody that has a Black Hunter really enjoying the bow. I'm sure they are. I know of a lot of guys who have contacted me, and it's